A couple thoughts on the election process. There has been a lot of talk about ostensibly better voting processes that we could implement to break the two-party system and help everyone vote for candidates they actually believe in. A first-past-the-post election, like our current system, incentivizes a two-party system with broad coalitions all held together under one umbrella. Alternative systems would allow for proportional representation so that the percentage of the votes that each individual party received would be the percentage of representatives they get to have in Congress. I have gone back and forth on this idea because it is really frustrating feeling like we have to vote against the least crazy candidate every election instead of voting for someone who we actually believe in. However, I think most people that support that kind of change have not properly thought through the consequences. A two-party system actually tends to force moderation in government. Currently, elections are ultimately decided by the independents. They tend to be right in the middle of the two parties, meaning candidates who want to win have to show to the independents that they are the less crazy, more moderate option of the two options. In the past, party bosses would nominate candidates with this in mind, wanting people that agree with their values, but are reasonable enough to court the independent and moderate vote. Ironically, trying to make that process more democratic has hurt the system. Now, since only the most ideologically passionate voters come out for the primaries, candidates have to work harder to please them just to stay alive in the race, rather than presenting themselves as a moderate to please the moderates and independents. In other words, a two-party system with a less democratic primary moderates the political parties. If we have proportional representation in Congress, sure, we all get to vote for whichever fringe candidates specifically match our beliefs, but so does everyone else. We won't just end up with a Green Party, Libertarian Party and a Christian Democrat Party. We absolutely will have an actual Marxist party and an actual Nazi party getting votes, and their followers won't be forced to vote for the moderate that actually has a chance of winning. The other consequence of that, as we have seen in Europe many times, including recently, is if times get hard, people have in the past turned to the extremists on their own side of the aisle. If we enter an economic depression, and you are a moderate on the political left, but are fed up with your party, you may be far more likely to turn to a Marxist party. The same would happen on the right. It is exactly this process in exactly that kind of system that allowed for the rise of fascism in Europe. If you actually think the alt-right is a huge problem in the United States, you should be very concerned about the potential ramifications of a multi-party system. I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I find that the stability of the two-party system to be a benefit that outweighs the cost of not being able to vote for someone who thinks exactly like I do. I think what we really need to do is fix the primaries. If we can fix the problems caused by the more democratic primary system, we will see both parties forced back towards the center.